What's up, guys? It's Showtime's Fight Forum. You already know what it is. This is your boy Showtime. And let me just say, this fight card that we're going to talk about, which is UFC Austin, which was on ESPN, was a perfect example of what I said last week, which was, it is not a star-studded card by any means. There is no Conor McGregor. There's no John Jones on this card. But this card is fire, and it will deliver. Boy, did it do exactly what the hell I said. And I mean, I don't know. Those are one of those cards, man, you gotta watch again. Like, I very rarely, I can't even think of the last time I've seen a fight where there were just so many finishes. And not even just finishes. There were amazing finishes. Like, crazy finishes. News were getting slapped up. Bad. Women getting, everybody was getting beat up. Like, unbelievable card. Amazing card. Definitely, it oversold what I even said. But yeah, I mean, we have to, talk about it. And I'm pretty much only going to talk about maybe 3 fights. Really, 2 of the main, which was the co-main and the main. Unfortunately, Joe Lozon and Donald Cerrone didn't happen. That is the new Habib and Tony Ferguson. These guys, just something happens every single time. And it's crazy. It's always happening the day of the fight and the night before. Like, that's weird. That's even weirder than the Habib thing. Because at least, well, one time it was the week of, but every other time I think it was like months out. So it's really weird that keeps happening. I'm not interested. Hopefully we done, move on. When they fight somebody else, or just retire. Not that interested in that fight anyways. But let's talk about the actual card in itself. I told you guys, Yanez is a beast, and he is coming for all you suckers. All right, that was crazy fight. I mean, his boxing's phenomenal. We've already stated this. My only big issue is that I think he gets punched a little too much. His defense is good, but he does allow himself to get punched. He has a good chin, so luckily, that's good to rely on for while you're young. But eventually, that joint wears down, then you're not as good. But he looked good, great knockout. Person I was extremely impressed by is the guy I actually crapped on last week, and that's Phil Hoffs. I was interested in seeing that fight because both these guys had big hype and they didn't live up to it. So I was pretty interested to see. Deron Wynn, he's one of DC's pupil, and I was very interested in seeing how he was going to, I guess not bounce back, but he was going to come out fighting another person who was a John Jones pupil and a guy who everybody thought was going to be the next person coming out of Greg Jackson camp, who also flopped. Wynn is unfortunate, but I just think he's just too small, man. Realistically, the guy's 5'6". He's not a big guy. I mean, he's a chunky guy. He's a good wrestler, but he's still 5'6", fighting at 185. We have to realize that comes with disadvantages. He's not Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson could overcome the size difference with his technique and skill. Deron is not that skilled of an MMA fighter to overcome his discrepancies as far as height, size, and reach and all that good stuff. Phil Hoffs picked him apart. Phil Hoffs looked like the next John Jones in this fight. Granted, I mean, I don't really think he's that good still, but he looked every bit of the hype that they've been saying for years now. And it was damn near flawless. Deron is just one of the toughest dudes I've ever seen because that beating he took, it should not have lasted that long. It was a hellacious beating, and he still came out fighting, and that's respect to Deron Williams. And then when it comes to Phil, I mean, bro, this is your capability. I mean, the sky really is the limit. Like, at the end of the day, like, you look phenomenal. Like, that was by far the best performance I've ever seen Phil Hoffs in. And I mean, he's not the youngest, but he's not necessarily old. Who knows, he could build on his momentum, and maybe he is every bit of what they say, because I've seen people in other sports who practice way better than they actually perform, and they have the talent and the capabilities to do it. Maybe Phil Hoffs is that guy. I don't know. Maybe he finally put it together, and now he might be a threat. We will see. But I don't really know what's next for Deron, man. Like, realistically, the honest answer is that he has to cut. Like, I don't know if his body's going to be capable to, but he has to. If he really wants to be a fighter in the UFC and want to have UFC championship aspirations, you got to cut down, bro. And I'm not even going to sit here and say 170, even though 170 will get you to the right direction. But I honestly think it might be crazy to say, but maybe have to be 155. 170 is the bare minimum, but you're just too small for these divisions, man. Like DC was able to overcome the height and the size, but unfortunately, you're not up to his skill level. Now, before I move on, I do have to talk about Phil Hoffs' challenge in DC. mind you, if you don't know, I'm a big DC guy, man, as a person. Like, as a fighter too, but as a person, like, his story, his legacy, I mean, I honestly would love to meet DC because he just seems like such a genuinely good guy. And like I said, his story is crazy. Phil Hoffs got checked. I understand he was high off the emotions of coming out of a dominating win, and he went to my man's DC thinking he was sweet for it. DC ain't no punk. He's a nice guy, but he ain't no punk. We gotta remember, put some respect on DC's name. He's one of the greatest ever. And he had to check him. If you haven't seen the video, I gotta show you the video.
Pick the wrong opponent. Yeah, you got it. You know what I'm talking about. I got to be cool. Come train me. And then next week, he's fighting me.
Hey, I don't pick fight. Be respectful.
I am.
Don't be respectful. Don't talk.
Like I looked at
Hey, I don't want to fight. Be respectful. Don't do that.
So yeah, that was some gangster stuff right there, bro. He just let him know right then and there, bro, you ain't fight me. Like, also, I ain't picked this fight. So, like I said, DC, I love you, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'm a big fan. Now let's talk about the co-main and the main event, all right? The co-main, which was Kevin Holland fighting Tim Means. Now look, I'm not saying I was right. I was right. I told you guys, man. Like I said that, mind you, he didn't start off slow like I thought he would. He actually started off pretty fast, and Tim Means started off pretty fast too. It was a really good first round. I still think Kevin Holland easily won it because he hurt him a few times. And then the second round, I was right, but I was wrong. Obviously, I said he was gonna knock him out, but he ended up choking him out. However, he hurt him multiple times that led to the choke. So yeah, I was wrong, but I was really right. And Kevin Holland has arrived at 170, man. The guy looked phenomenal. He looks comfortable. He looks good. 170, he's going to be an issue if his takedown defense looks as good as it did yesterday. I mean, I cannot deny, I can't sit here and say anything otherwise. He looked good. Tim Means tried to wrestle him. Kevin Holland looked good. Even when he got taken down, got right back up. And that does mean something because we have to remember, one of the most important things in wrestling is weight. It's not the most important, but it's definitely one of the most. So size, there's a reason why there's like a 5-pound difference in every weight class because size really do matter. Going from 185 to 170 is such a massive difference in the wrestling department. Your wrestling will improve. These guys are nowhere near strong. Like it's not, wrestling isn't all about strength, but strength is such a key factor, man. You have to have some of that man strength, that bear strength. Like you have to have it. Khabib has it. Like DC have it. All these top wrestlers have it. And when you go down in weight, you realize these guys aren't as strong to finish these shots. They might be quicker. However, this is MMA. Quickness is good, but you still need that strength to finish it. So, and keep them down. You have to have that strength to keep them down. So yeah, that's one thing that we're noticing, and Kevin looked good. So, I mean, can't wait to see him fight next. Sean Brady's a great fight. Don't know if Sean Brady would necessarily take it. It's a really good matchup for both guys, honestly. I think it's a win-win for both. It answers some of Sean Brady's stand-up department. He's good at the stand-up, but he did get picked apart a little bit in his last fight. We know he's more of a ground guy. His ground game is phenomenal. And we know Kevin Holland's a great stand-up guy, but his ground game is suspicious. It answers questions for whoever wants to have a title campaign. So now let's just go ahead and talk about the final fight, the main event. This fight was great. I was wrong, obviously. I picked Calvin Kattar. If you ask me who I thought won that fight, it was Calvin Kattar. I thought he won 3-2. One of the judge scorecards was terrible because the first two rounds are debatable, in my opinion. I think you can give it to either one. The first round really wasn't that active. I thought that I actually gave that kind of the Kattar just because I thought that he was more active in the striking. I thought Emmett was more aggressive, but I thought as far as the total strikes thrown, leaned towards Calvin. So I went that route. Second round, I thought was also a wash. I thought they both were very, very close. I kind of think I also gave that to Calvin. Actually, I'm sorry. First round I gave it to Emmett because of the aggression. Second round I gave to Calvin because of the volume strikes, and he did land a bit and start to bust him up a little bit, so I gave it to him. But once again, like Emmett landed a couple big shots, but I didn't think there were that many. I thought he landed like 2 or 3 shots, but Calvin was active throughout the entire round. The third round was Josh Emmett's best round. He was landing some good bombs, and I don't think he ever hurt Calvin, but I do think that he landed some good shots. Fourth round easily was, which is why I'm kind of confused on how the judge even thought to give that to Emmett. Emmett was hurt, got dropped, honestly almost got put out the way, and somehow he wins that round. That doesn't make sense. So that was a fluke round in my opinion. I don't know how a judge can give that to Josh Emmett. Calvin won that round. The 5th round, also, Calvin Kattar, in my opinion, easily won that round. I thought the 3, 4, and 5 were the easiest rounds to pick. The 5th round, once again, Josh Emmett was tired. He was getting picked apart a little bit. And I thought he got his bell rung a few times as well. Until the end, he started to recover and started to throw shots, but none of them landed. So it was a great fight. Josh Emmett, I mean, at the end of the day, you give it to Josh Emmett, I'm not complaining. It was that close of a fight in the first couple rounds where I was like, okay, I can see them giving it to him. And Josh Emmett won, so fair and square. He's next in line after the win. If Yair wins his fight with Ortega, he should be next for the title shot. If he loses, Josh Emmett needs to be next for whoever wins the Volkanovski and Holloway fight. Now, what's next for Calvin Kattar? I don't think that he's too far away from a title shot again. This was such a close fight that this doesn't really hurt his stock, in my opinion. You throw him right back into the Wolves with another top 5 guy, and we'll see. Maybe if Ortega loses, he fights Ortega. Like I'm still thinking he's in the title picture because both these guys look good. Josh Emmett, time is now. He's 37. He needs the title shot. Like realistically, in that division with those dogs being that old, he needs to fight now, and he does have opportunity. He once again, pound for pound, he's one of the top strikers, power punch wise in MMA. He punches extremely hard. So yeah, we'll see. I thought he looked good. I thought Calvin looked good. It was a fun fight. The whole card was phenomenal, and I'm just super excited to see what's next in that division. 145-pound division, 135-pound division, and 155-pound division are stacked, and they're all just so many entertaining fights. So as always, I'm always excited, but it's crazy. But as always, man, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Tell me what you think is next for these guys. And is this card of the year for you? If so, please tell me what other card was better, because I don't think there was. You ain't gonna see 9 finishes, and then it was so good, Dana gave all of them bonuses. We know Dana cheap. He gave everybody bonuses. That tells you how phenomenal this card was. But as always, this is Showtime's Fight Forums, where we talk all things fights. Make sure y'all be blessed.